Okay, this is gonna be the last final one in chapter 1. Okay, let's get started. Uh, sorry, this is you don't know JavaScript yet. Okay, you don't know JS yet. Get started. Chapter 1 and the last final one. Okay, let's get started. Strictly speaking, back in 2009, with the release of ES5, JS added strict modes as an OPT mechanisms for encoding better JS program. The benefits of strict modes were outweighed and cost, but all habit die hard and in in areas of existing accounts legacy code based basis on is really hard to chip. So sadly, more than 10 years later, strict modes optionality means that it's still not necessary and default for JS program. Why strict modes? Strict modes, why strict mode? Strict mode shouldn't be thought for as a restriction on what you can do, but rather as a guide to the best way to do things that the JS engine has the best chance to optimizing and efficiently running the code. Most JS is worked on by teams of developers, so the strict necessary is strict most, along with two I am all say okay, I'll try to not okay. Most is worked on by teams of developers, so the strict necessary is strict most along with toolings like linter. Oh, okay. Often helps collaboration on code by avoiding some of the more problematic mistakes that split by in non-strict mode. Most strict mode control are in the form of earlier errors, meaning error that isn't strictly syntax error but are still true and compiles time before the code is run. For example, strict mode disavow naming two functions parameters the same and result in the error. Some other strict modes control are only observable at runtime, such as how this defaults to undefined instead of the global object. Rather than fixings and outings with strict modes like a kid who just want to define whatever their parents tell them not to do. The best mindset is that strict mode is like a linter reminding you how they should be written to have the highest qualities and best chance to performance. If you find yourself feeling hence suffers trying to work around stigmas that should be upbringings with warning flags that you need to back up and rethink the whole approach. Stigmas is switches on profile with a special pragma. Nothing around before is except comment or white space. Okay, warnings. Something to be aware of is that even a stay semicolons or by itself appearing before the stigmas pragmas will render the pragma useless. No error or true because it's that it is to have a strings iterous expression in a statement position, but it also will slightly not turn on stick mode. Stigmas can alternatively Stigmas can alternatively be turned on per function scope with exactly the same rules about its surroundings. Okay, we declare functions is called sum operations, and inside of the function we have scope. Scope is like we can do comment white space and commas and file here. Okay, and then we gonna use stick mode inside the function. And on the next slide or this course will run in stick mode. Interestingly, if a file has strict mode turned on, the function level strict mode pragma are disallowed, so you have to pick one or the others. The other various reason to use a per functions approach to strict mode is when you are converting and executing non-strict modes programs file and needs to make its changes little by little over time. Otherwise, it's vastly better to simply turn strict modes on for the entire file programs. Many have wondered if there would ever be times when JS made strict modes than the default. The answer is most likely certainly not. As we discussed in area route backwards compatibilities, if a JS engine update started assume code that strict modes, even if it's not marked as such, it's possible that its code would break and as a result of strict modes control. However, there are few factors that reduce the future impact of if this non-default obscurity if strict mode. For once, virtually the transpile codes end up with strict modes, even if the original source code isn't written as such. Most JS code in a production had been transpiled, so that means most JS is already has handlings to strict mode. It's possible to undo that assumption, but you really have to go out for your way to do so. So it's highly unlikely. Moreover, a wise shift is happening towards most new JS codes being written using the ES6 models format. ES6 models assume strict mode, so all codes in that file is automatically defaulted to strict mode. Taken together, strict mode is largely the de facto default, even though technically is not actually the default. JS is JS is an implement of the ESMA script standard version ES 2019 as of this writing, which is guided by the TC39 committee and hosted by ESMA. Eastern is browser and other JS environments such as Node.js. JS is a multiple programs language. JavaScript is a multiple program languages, meaning the syntax and capabilities allow developer to mix and match, append or retrieve concepts for various major programs such as produce, reduce, object-oriented, OO classes, and functionals programming like functional PF. JS is a compiled language, meaning the tool, including the JS engine, process the verifies the program, reporting and any error before it's executed. With our language now defined, let's start getting no ins and out. Okay, that's finished the chapter 1. So we move to read the chapter 2 in the future sooner. Thank you.